Hoy, América Latina y el Caribe aporta el 15% de la producción ganadera mundial. ¿Sabías que la demanda global de esta proteína crecerá un 20% al 2050? El reto es producir más eficientemente y de manera sostenible para satisfacer esa necesidad nutricional y a su vez garantizar los medios de vida de millones de familias. Para enfrentar este desafío de manera regional, existe la Comisión de Desarrollo Ganadero para América Latina y el Caribe, CODEGALAC. En esta comisión, que reúne a gobiernos y al sector privado de la región, la Organización de las Naciones Unidas para la Alimentación y la Agricultura, FAO, oficia como Secretaría Técnica. Aquí se intercambian experiencias y conocimientos para diseñar políticas ganaderas innovadoras, resilientes, sostenibles y eficientes. Este 2025, la 17ª reunión de CODEGALAC se realiza en Guatemala, coordinada por el Ministerio de Agricultura, Ganadería y Alimentación, MAGA, y con el apoyo de la FAO. El objetivo es discutir sobre la contribución de la ganadería al desarrollo sostenible y a la seguridad alimentaria en la región. Además, se contará con un foro de inversiones en ganadería sostenible, con la participación de gobiernos, expertos y entidades de cooperación en el tema, para impulsar la movilización de recursos en pos de la ganadería sostenible. CODEGALAC. Una ganadería sostenible es posible impulsando una mejor producción, una mejor nutrición, un mejor medio ambiente y una vida mejor, sin dejar a nadie atrás.
Trabajemos para lograr un mejor medio ambiente para las personas, para el planeta. Durante la última conferencia regional de la FAO celebrada en Georgetown, Guyana, los 33 Estados miembros aprobaron unánimemente 4 prioridades regionales interconectadas que reflejan las 4 mejoras de la FAO, 4 dimensiones que contribuyen a la transformación de los sistemas agroalimentarios y que guiarán a la organización en América Latina y el Caribe hasta 2026. Los alimentos provienen del suelo y del agua. Sin embargo, la región es particularmente vulnerable al cambio climático y a las malas prácticas a nivel productivo que han generado degradación ambiental. Entre 2008 y 2018, las pérdidas en la producción agrícola relacionadas con desastres climáticos en América Latina y el Caribe se estimaron en $29.000 millones. En 2022, los desastres relacionados con el clima afectaron a 17 países. Si no actuamos hoy en la adaptación y mitigación al cambio climático, para el 2030, más de 3 millones de personas podrían alcanzar la pobreza extrema, en un escenario donde la escasez de agua se agrava.
It is an honor to welcome the wonderful city of Foz do Iguaçu to serve the forum Tackling Together High Pathogenic Avian Influenza, global dialogue among science, politics, and the private sector, organized by FAO with the support of the Ministry of Agriculture in Brazil and the Brazilian Association of Animal Protein. And in the coming days, this forum will bring together representatives from the scientific world, decision makers, and the industry to tackle avian influenza, and a disease that is still one of the most critical threats for the production and causes sequences affects the economy and public health. And our discussion will be guided by a common objective: to encourage a productive dialogue and participatory dialogue, how to come up with solutions that are sustainable for those challenges. We bring together national, international leaders from different sectors, representatives of the production sector, governmental authorities, and that will allow to strengthen the global cooperation and to find joint solutions in the fight against high pathogenic avian influenza. On behalf of the organizers, I would like to thank for the interest and commitment of each one of you for addressing this topic that is so important. And let's start now the first session. And right now, I'd like to invite to the stage the General Director of FAO and the Director of Division of Production and Animal Health, Mr. Tanawan Vincent.
Invitamos también al secretario de Comercio.
We would like to invite the Secretary of Commerce of the Ministry of Agriculture and Cattle in Brazil, representing the Ministry of Agriculture of Farming in Brazil, Mr. Ruiz Braz. I would like to invite the Joint Secretary of Animal Defense of the Ministry of Farming in Brazil, Mr. Alvarenga. I would like to invite the General Director for International Standards and Science from the World Organization of Animal Health, ONSA, Mrs. Monsarroyo. I would like to invite the President of the International Council of Poultry Farming, the Brazilian President of the Association of Animal Protein, Mr. João Santin. We'd like to invite the representative of the Paraná government and the president of the Animal Farming Defense, and Mr. Martins. And we'd like to use this opportunity to greet the other authorities that are here with us today. Mr. Marcelo Mona, the Director of the Animal Health Department, and Mrs. Juliana Soter, Director of LIPO and IMAPA, and the representative of the President of FACA, Mr. Mendes, representative of CEPAR, Mr. Monteiros, and the representative of Avipar, Paulo Cândido. And now we would like to invite all the attendees to stand up to listen to the Brazilian national anthem. Now we're going to start the official opening speeches, and we're going to invite the General Joint Director of the Reproduction and Health and Animal Production from the Organization for Food, FAO, of the United Nations, Mr. Tanawa.
Very good morning. Muito bom dia. It's just only Portuguese. Only one word that I will speak today. The rest I need to speak English, and that's why you need.
Por isso que vocês vão precisar do fone de ouvido, do dispositivo de interpretação para ajudar vocês. Suas Excelências, Sr. For, Secretário do Comércio e Relações Exteriores do Ministério da Agricultura do Brasil, representante do governo do Estado.
Now, Dr. Montserrat Arroyo, Deputy Director General of WOAH, World Organization for Animal Health, President of the International Poultry Council, President
de Pecuária
of Animal Protein, and also the Presidents of the Agricultural Defense Agencies of the state of Paraná, distinguished delegates, chief veterinary officers, industry representatives, friends, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great honor to welcome you all here in a beautiful city of Fort do Iguaçu. If you don't know that here, the Fort do Iguaçu is the world's largest waterfall. Don't miss these opportunities to visit the impressive waterfall. And that's why I'm sure that some of colleagues already make it happen yesterday. But it's not only come here to see the waterfall, but we come here today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow to have the global dialogue on tackling high pathogenicity avian influenza. And that's why I take this opportunity to thank the Ministry of Agriculture of the government of Brazil and also the state of Paraná for hosting this meeting this week. A global challenge of high pathogenicity of avian influenza is no longer business as usual. And you can see that a lot of impact, economic impact, social impact, animal health and human health impact across the globe. And HPAI is no longer a seasonal or regional disease. And you can see that over the past 20 years, avian influenza outbreak occur everywhere. And over the past 2 decades, it has evolved, spread, threatening animal health, human health, biodiversity, agri-food systems, and poultry industry worldwide. And that's why this crisis today remind me of the last 20 years in 2003 to 2006, when we had the big outbreak of H5N1 avian influenza spread across Asia, wiping out hundreds of millions of poultry, costing billions US dollars, halting international trade, shaking our economies, and putting livelihoods and food security at risk. At that moment in Asia of that crisis, FAO stood with members and partners. We convened a landmark conference in Bangkok, Thailand, called for urgent united actions and established the FAO Emergency Center for Transmissible Animal Diseases. And that's why today as well, FAO, together members, our partners like WOAH and others, regional organizations in your regions, and together with all of you, we need to move forward and we need to find solutions how to prevent and control this disease. And during that time and over the year, FAO helped countries strengthen biosecurities, improve early warning, ensure swift reporting and rapid response. This work contained outbreak in Asia and build stronger animal health systems and poultry production, and prove that coordinated actions works well. And that's why we can learn from other regions and bring knowledge and experience how we can use those experience and expertise here in Americas. As you know that the virus respect no border, from Asia to Europe, Africa, Middle East, Northern Europe, and today Latin America. It impact reaches far beyond animal health and veterinary services, disrupting trade, damaging rural economies, threatening food security, and endangering one of the fastest growing livestock sectors is your sector, poultry sector. Business as usual is no longer an option. Each of us has a duty and a shared responsibility to act, and please act now. And building the past success, FAO and WOAH have launched the global control strategies for highly pathogenic avian influenza under the GFTAT framework, a roadmap to protect poultry production, conserve biodiversity, and safeguard agri-food systems. But you know that the strategies is another document. But if you don't convert the strategies into action, into the national policies, and also take action by business, by poultry producers, is nothing happen. The disease will continue, occur in the region and in the countries. And that's why at FAO, our goal is to work with members, farmers, producers, and industries to build sustainable, resilient agri-food system and sustainable poultry sector for better production, better nutrition, better environment, and a better life, leaving no one behind. The global demand of animal productions or animal products will rise by over 20% by 2050. Today we are feeding 8 billion people, but by 2050, our challenge to feed 10 billion people. And I'm sure that animal protein and also poultry sector will play an important role to nourish 10 billion people by 2050. And that's why at FAO today we are advancing the One Health in Agri-Food System framework to strengthen global health and food securities using science and innovation to drive early warning, rapid response, biosecurities, and innovation strategies. What innovation that we can bring here today and discuss tomorrow, and to make sure that the innovation strategies can help us to control and contain avian influenza. And during the FAO Ministerial Conference just last June, our Director General, Dr. Chu Dong-yu, just announced the Global Challenge Program for Sustainable Transboundary Animal Diseases, a new initiative for better support members, farmers, producers in protecting animal health and livelihoods. And from dialogue to actions, today and this week, we are here to share experiences and explore solutions, but dialogue alone is not enough. We must turn words and also discussions into bold and decisive actions. And this week as well, our dialogue must go further than technical discussions. We must tackle the business, economic, and trade dimensions head on and work together to find practical solutions, real-world solutions, and so that the poultry sectors and its business can not only survive but thrive. Over the coming days, let us challenge ourselves and each of us to think bigger, act faster, and work together across disciplines and borders. And you can see that there are many participants from Asia, from Africa, from Near East, and they can share experience with you, and you also can share experience with them, how we're going to control the situation of high pathogenicity avian influenza. And I take this opportunity to inform you that we are pleased to announce the designations of the laboratory or the Brazilian laboratory to become as FAO reference centers. The Laboratorio Federal de Defesa Agropecuaria Campinas. I hope that you understand what I say. And that's why the work that the laboratory of Brazil will play an important role at the global level. And that's why being a FAO reference centers for animal influenza and Newcastle diseases is a valuable addition to our global network of excellence to control the disease, to control transboundary animal disease. Colleagues, partners, friends, FAO stand ready to make HPAI control not just a goal, but a global reality. We have proven it can be done before, and the lessons we have learned are ready to be shared and adopted worldwide. From this meeting, we will carry forward our momentum, fostering change, scaling innovation, and driving solution to the next global conference on sustainable livestock transformations that will be hosted on 29th of September to 1st of October at FAO headquarters in Rome. Together, we will make the livestock sectors, poultry sectors, more efficient, inclusive, resilient, and sustainable for the better futures of everyone. And now is the time for us to unite to protect livelihoods, safeguard food securities, and create lasting change, leaving no one behind. And this is our call for actions today. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Agradecemos al director general adjunto y director de la
Director, Production and Health Hampton from the United Nations for Food and Agriculture, Mr. Tatmatipu, for the welcome. And we invite now the General Director, June for International Rules and Science from the ONSA organization, Ms. Montserrat Arroyo, please. Thank you. I will take the opportunity now being here in the Americas to speak Spanish. For those who need translation, please get your headset for the interpretation. Dear Secretary, Sua, and Secretary Adjunct, Mr. Alvarenga Tanawak, Ricardo Santin, Lamir Martin, Mr. Marcelo, dear delegates, experts, and participants, welcome, and thank you for participating in this global dialogue about HPAI. Your participation here reflects our shared commitment to face this threat in evolution. We know that the high pathogenicity avian influenza has become a worry in the world due to the changes in its terminology. Since the 2021, we've been seeing that the virus has is scattered throughout the continents, affecting not only the mammals and the ecosystem, not only the poultry. It came to America and started like in the first semester of 2025 in Brazil, but they controlled very quickly. So we have the urgency, we have this coordinated action among all the actors. But to face the avian flu, the high pathogenicity, avian influenza, we need to work together. That's why this forum that gather the science, politics, the governance, and the private sector is so important. So I thank you, FAO, for inviting ONSA to participate actively, since this initiative aligns perfectly with our vision of prioritize the global collaboration for the prevention, detection, and quick response that we promote along with the FAO through the global mark for this type of disease and GF tats and animals. The fruit of this coordination, and as Tanwat mentioned, it was launched recently, the global strategy for the dealing the 2024-2030 Act. This strategy developed and offered that is something that is key for the coordinated action to promote the vaccination, the compartmentalization also, this type of events and tools that we have been working. And we have this solid vigilance or surveillance. So we have the different areas of intervention that are necessary. Many of them will be dealt with in the workshops that we have in the upcoming days. This strategy was made up to this broad consultation in the regional and international realm, involving all the sectors, the public and the private, and all that are in the health system. So working together, we can mitigate this global threat and protecting people, animals, and the systems, the food systems in the whole world. The collaboration has to be, we have to move on with that. We have many examples. One is the off flu. So on FAO, the off flu that keeps promoting, also working in the circulating virus and how to control the disease. We're going to have a session. I invite all the experts so you can participate and know more about off flu and go to the website as well. We have been updating the website, the World Health Organization for Animal Onset. Our priority is to promote the detection and the quick response for the disease, and work with high pathogenicity, avian influenza. Also, we involve science, politics, and the private sector in a meaningful dialogue, and also the standards that have been approved will be also applied. The participation and also to invest from all actors essential to build systems that are resilient and capable of detecting and responding in an efficacious way. The early detection is one of the most powerful tools to reduce the impact of the high pathogenicity, even influenza. So we, with the WASIS, allows us in our centers and others to report officially the occurrence of disease in animals, facilitating the transparency and also the quick response. The ONSA has developed and keeps up-to-dating rules, guidelines based on science to give support to its members. It's a way we have synergies with other organizations. We have created forums and spaces for dialogue like today to foment the collaboration, improve the synergy among the sectors. These tools shared are designed to help all actors to strengthen the surveillance, improve the biosecurity, and implement these measures that will prevent the disease. ONSA is working with all actors to implement the global strategy of high pathogenicity, avian influenza, in protecting the environment and this forum, the participation, active participation, all of you in the upcoming sessions. It's an important step in the implementation. We should be collaborating with all stakeholders to face this together with this commitment that we have to get. I'm sure we will mitigate the impact of the avian flu. Thank you very much. Thank you for your word, Sector for International Rules and Science from the ONSA organization. And now we invite the President of the International Council for Avian and the Brazilian Association of Animal Protein, Mr. Ricardo João Santin, please. Good morning, Andrés. Bom dia.
Dr. Montserrat, Secretary representing the Minister of Agriculture, Luis Rua, Secretary Alain, Dr. Otamir, all distinguished guests are here. I would like to greet all the technicians here on saluting Dr. Sullivan Alves and my Secretary General of International Poultry Council, Nicola Chinotti, to greet and salute all the countries that are here. I would like to ask you, because I'm the president of president of International Poultry Council, but I am in my country, and then I will apologize and I will speak in Portuguese. Please let me speak. Who don't understand Portuguese, I will speak in Portuguese. Muito obrigado.
Thank you so much, Andres. It's a pleasure. I have a presentation. I would like to it's to me to initiate discussion of this dialogue about avian influenza of pathogenicity. Mr. Tanawa, thank you so much for being here and bringing this meeting to Brazil. One of the last big producers which received the avian influenza this year. It's a great challenge for us, but also we now realize the avian influenza all continents in the world. And how can we deal with that? We can deal based on the principle of One Health principle. This is what we have to think about and maybe change our concepts, evolve. And when I talk about evolve a concept, I'm not criticizing what we've done so far. It was absolutely just that we had a principle of precaution so far, but now science, knowledge, the needs takes us to change the concept so that we are able to take care of these situations. Avian influenza is not a subject of one person alone, of one institution alone, or one country. We, as representative of the global industry, of the production of poultry and different birds and genetics, we need to bring this to the world, that this is a multifaceted problem, interconnected in all instances, being the techniques, being the commercial area, all of them, and the consumers. The most important one is the consumer. And this special day here in Brazil, we celebrate the Veterinarian Day. I would like to congratulate and celebrate our veterinarians that who work so hard in the subject so far, but we need to have a reflection, to think on the target, the sustainable, the ODS. All of us know the zero hunger. More than 700 people are going hungry in the world. And this principle makes us that we have to evolve to such that will not block the trade. Being involved in genetics or meat that can maybe harm trade, like Mr. Tanawa said, and Dr. Monsa said that sometimes the access to protein, the cheapest proteins, like chicken and eggs, for example, and without a doubt, avian influenza is in all continents. It is unfortunately flying every day on us over here. This is can be transmitted. We in the Avian Council, we're finishing. I'm ending my term. Dr. Richard Griff will, in January, we are preparing an action plan so that just in case this would infect human beings, but we know already that is a hypothesis that is really low that will transmit to humans. But the avian influenza, it is, yes, a disease of the poultry, of the birds. And this disease can be transmitted due to frozen meat, for example. When we block, and John Cliff, my dear friend, representing this, my counterpart in the United States, my friend, looked at the U.S., had losses of billions of dollars, and Brazil, millions of dollars in losses. Who paid for these losses for the two biggest exporters of meat in the world? Maybe the poor people of the importers, the people who import, or the countries import. This is the reflection we need to have. You have to transmit the virus, active virus, to a production, industrialized production of a country due to the importation of meat, if you have the producer, men and women, those who really understand about the disease, because they are dealing with the animals on the field, they are there on the day-to-day activity, and they go to a technical response from the company, and then goes to a slaughterhouse where all federal, technicians here in Brazil, veterinary and official employee, that will guarantee that a bird will not be infected, will not arrive infected inside of a slaughterhouse. It will go through a treatment, a thermal treatment of scalding, go to frozen, less 18 degrees Celsius. Dr. Singh told me it's possible that you will survive a virus, even in the bone or in the meat, but with power of transmission to get to the other side. So the biggest question, Dr. Mansoha and Dr. Tanawat, we say if it is cooked, yeah, if it is cooked, maybe it can. Thailand is the greatest example. It converted its production to cooking the products. But that frozen meat that I sell it in raw, it will get to the destination where it will be cooked, because people do not eat raw meat, and not even the animals, they eat raw meat, nor the animals. The main vector of this are the flying birds and animals that are alive. So in the remote posted that maybe you didn't cook properly the product, how will you do that to transmit, to pass on to industrial production? I'm going to make it, this will become animal food, but the animal food will receive also more, will be cooked at over 160 degrees, inactivating the avian flu virus, making so that we have maybe a hypothesis that is really remote, very close to zero of transmitting the virus through the imported meat. It's close to zero, this possibility. But this is based on what? And the principle of precaution, like I said, we thought it a long time ago, but now we need to evolve, especially due to genetics. We cannot have the principle of precaution nowadays if we know this is not transmitting the disease. Look the case of Brazil. We are here in the south of Brazil, the state of Paraná, and the border with Argentina, Uruguay, and Paraguay. The distance among the capital, or between the capital of Argentina, Buenos Aires, and the capital of Uruguay is 420 kilometers only. But the distance of Montenegro in the Rio Grande do Sul, where we had one case of avian flu, to Iguaçu is 700 kilometers. But Brazil is closed completely to Europe and for China and Canada and Malaysia today, because we had one case 700 kilometers, but Uruguay is not close because Argentina had a case 1 month ago, and it has less distance. Is it that the geopolitics will guarantee the sanitation, or biosecurity will guarantee transparency of information based on science? Look the size of Brazil, but these birds are flying everywhere in the world. There is no continent that you don't have birds flying, and there's no continent that you don't have wild birds. Sometimes they have the virus, but they can't transmit. And how can we hold them outside of the farms with biosecurity practice? And of course, we're going to discuss today also vaccination when it is the case, but to keep the virus away. The virus is not transmitted. So how are we going to seek the solutions for this? With this dialogue, an open dialogue based on science, which has basis with clear information, transparent information that operators of public policies, Dr. Rua, Dr. Lan, who are here, Dr. Juliana, Dr. Marcelo Mata, our delegate in the ONSA, that we serve the rules of the animal health. They say that the cooked meat do not transmit, and they say that regionalization is the instrument for us to guarantee the biosecurity and food security and the safety of our flocks.
This is the dialogue that as we celebrate the presence of so many people here. I would like to thank FAO for the opportunity to live in the organization of agriculture, to speak on behalf of our industry, to say that the private sector is indeed supporting the initiatives of FAO and OMSA for the regionalization, for making to the compartmentalization in terms of genetics, because we are talking about live animals, but we should evolve in those positions, seeking an open, sincere dialogue, so that at the end we can reach a simple conclusion. If we do not transmit through the consumption of meat, if you're going to cook the meat when you're going to consume, if it is not possible that this meat that is being imported is going to be transformed into animal feed for animal production in a country, if the birds are flying, then they're carrying the virus, we have to understand that this is the solution, to work with regional aspects in a proper way, calling everyone so that together, the private sector, the public sector, and also the organizations of our consumers, to work together for a new moment where we can live with this endemic, with this disease that is present in the world, but affects mainly the birds only, so that we can protect the birds, so that later they can become food and guaranteed food security for our populations. That's why I would like to finish by saying there should be no borders for foods. Thank you. I wish you a great event. I'd like to thank you, the President of the International Council of Agriculture, the President of the Brazilian Association of Animal Protein, Mr. Ricardo Santin. Thank you for your words. And I would like to invite the Deputy Secretary of the Ministry of Livestock Farming and Agriculture in Brazil, Mr. Alvarenga. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to greet the colleagues from the panel, all the authorities that are here today. And first of all, I'd like to say that we are very happy to be hosting FAO's event here today. And for us, that's recognition. Recognition of the Brazilian sanitary defense, the recognition of the strength and the dedication of the veterinarians that now are celebrating their day, and they're working hard so that the Brazilian sanitary defense becomes stronger and becomes more and more robust. Recently, we went through our biggest challenge with high pathogenicity in avian influenza, and there's no doubt we have a great example, and we set the example inside the Department of Defense, showing the robustness of our activity. We were able to contain the outbreak, eliminate a disease in a record amount of time that had never been seen before, with a lot of efficiency, and that is not done overnight. And that was not done with little dedication. For many years, our secretariat has been investing in human material, investing in training, investing in laboratories, investing in people, investing in services. And this investment brought us excellent results, and results that will be discussed here today without a doubt, and discussed based on science. And that's what we expect. This is what we are doing inside of the Secretariat of Livestock Farming Defense, looking for science and the effort, so that within what is expected for animal health, so that we are able to be at the cutting edge. And this activity is standing out in Brazil. It's no wonder Brazil, it is the biggest exporter of meat, of poultry meat, because we actually guarantee the health of our flocks with a lot of transparency. An example of this transparency is the implementation of a panel. In 2023, we we were questioned regarding is how come Brazil does not have high pathogenicity avian influenza? We launched an extremely transparent panel where for regarding every step regarding the respiratory syndromes of birds, anyone in the world can see what is happening in Brazil. That shows our commitment to transparency and to responsibility. And this commitment that was assumed by the uh, Farming Defense Secretariat is still present today, and it is the one that is allowing us to make quick decisions and take quick actions. And I agree with you, Sanjin, that when you say that it is asynchronous, when we think that Brazil as a whole is still closed for some countries because of the avian influenza that has been contained. It did not leave one property. We were able to isolate in one property with complete transparency. So we, within this forum here, we have to discuss based on science, that the epidemiology of this disease has changed. It is being transformed, and this epidemiological transformation has been followed by innovation and regulations. We have to improve the regionalization. We have to re-signify the vaccine for this disease, discuss based on science when it can be used, when it cannot be used, and who will pay for that, and so on. And that is extremely relevant today within the SDA work. And the SDA's work is not done alone. We do it in partnership with all the states, and Eltaman is here strengthening my discourse, saying that the states are an integral part of the defense strategy, and the private sector that has been working with us. And in this joint movement, we were able to achieve success as we have done so far. We hope to achieve even more, to advance even more, because we advocate for science in animal health. SDA guides its activity based on science and the firmness of its decisions. This secretary of the Ministry of Agriculture has been adopting the most appropriate position to face the sanitary crisis that we had. We had this year, and last year we had another one, and we came out of those crises very well. This forum is not happening here by chance. I'd like to thank you for being here today, and please be sure that it is a commitment from the Ministry of Agriculture, commitment of the Brazilian Sanitary Defense, a commitment of the Minister Favaro, of the Secretary Goulart, that we will not, as the minister, we will not lower the bar. The bar of the Defense Sanitary Agency will always remain very high. And that's a commitment that we make here, and as a fact that has been guiding all of our actions. I hope that you have an excellent event. I hope you can discuss technically and with a lot of very strongly, in a very fruitful manner. I hope we can leave here with more knowledge, and those that do not have all the knowledge about the animal health activities that are carried out in Brazil, that I hope that you can find out more and can be positively surprised by the work that is being carried out inside the secretariat by very dedicated technicians, as you can see in the lab, in the department this week. For example, Carlos Goulart, the secretary, and myself, we were receiving messages from the coordinator speaking about the investigations that were being conducted on the weekend. That's the level of commitment of the secretariat. I'd like to thank all of you for being here today. I wish you a great event. I'd like to thank you, the Deputy Secretary of Animal Health Defense from the Ministry of Agriculture Brazil, Mr. Alvarenga. I'd like to invite the representative of the Paraná State and the representative of the PAR, Mr. Asamir. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to greet the members of the panel that have already been nominated. It's a great pleasure to be here representing the government of the Paraná State. And Paraná is a national leader in poultry production and an international reference in quality and biosecurity. And this position is fruit of the joint work between the government, the production sector, the scientific community, and mainly the thousands of producers. The high pathogenicity avian influenza is a challenge, a global challenge that requires constant vigilance, integration of efforts, and quick response. Our state has been working very strongly in the prevention. We have been investing in monitoring systems, in the training of professionals, and strategies aligned to international guidelines. The PAR, in partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Farming, and class entities and the production sectors have playing a leading role in this initiative. The strengthening of animal health defense is a permanent commitment of Paraná State because we know that animal health is synonymous with food security and economic competitiveness and international confidence. This event that is being held in these 3 days is more than a technical meeting. It is the demonstration that only with union and transparency and science we can face the sanitary challenges that we have. On behalf of the state governor, Mr. Ratinho Jr., that is attending another event now, we'd like to reinforce Paraná's commitment to keep on working side by side with everyone to protect our assets, to protect our production and guarantee that Paraná is continue to be a reference in terms of excellence in the Brazilian agribusiness and in the world. Thank you, all of you, and I wish you a great event. We'd like to thank the representative of the Paraná State government and the head of ADAPAR, Mr. Asamir, for his words. And to finish the opening ceremony, we'd like to invite the Secretary of Trade, International Relations from the Ministry of Livestock Farming and Agriculture in Brazil, and Mr. Luiz Juan. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to start by greeting the director of FAO, Mr. Tanawa. I'd like to greet Mrs. Monserrat that I had the pleasure to meet on a very important occasion for Brazil, which was in the last May, when Brazil was recognized as free of mouth disease for everyone that worked on this topic in the past 60 years. I'd like to greet also my colleague from the ministry, the Deputy Secretary Alvarenga from the Animal Health Defense Secretariat, the President of the Poultry Council and DPA, a big friend, Mr. Ricardo Santin. I'd like to greet our dear Otamir from Adapar, representing the Paraná State government. I'd like to greet the CVO, the Brazilian representative in the World Animal Health Organization, and all the colleagues from the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Farming here, all the colleagues from the private sector that are here today, that allow this moment to be a very important moment. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to the Minister Favre that was not able to attend, but it's a great pleasure to say these words. And this event is extremely relevant for Brazil, for Latin America, for the world as a whole, and is evidence of the commitment to the fight against this disease, which is the high pathogenicity avian influenza. This forum organized by FAO and co-organized by MAPA with the support of BPA, of OCEPAR, Sindiavipar, and so many bodies that are also participating, is bringing authorities, experts, the private sector, and international bodies in a global dialogue that is essential, and the exchange of knowledge here that is being promoted is vital for strengthening the sanitary defense and for the efficacious control of this disease that represents a serious threat to the poultry sector in the world. Without a doubt, high pathogenicity avian influenza is one of those threats to food security, to animal health, to economies, to biodiversity, to public health. And we are very proud to say that Brazil is a reference in the control of high pathogenicity avian influenza. Our country has been adopting a posture that is proactive, that is strategic, with coordinated actions among the public entities and the private sector, and ranging from the mapping of risk up to the structuring of responses that are quick and efficacious, as highlighted by the Deputy Secretary Allen. And Brazil has been demonstrating this technical and institutional capacity to face this challenge. I'd like to highlight the role of the Animal Health Defense Secretariat in the leadership of this process with the resilience. And I know that is very important in moments of crisis. Let's say since 2023, May 15, 2023, with the arrival of influenza in wild birds in Brazil, the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Farming has been intensifying its efforts to support, even in the strengthening of the veterinary services at the state level, focusing on this surveillance and the containment of even occasional outbreaks. It's important to highlight the role of the private sector that has been working more and more to reinforce biosecurity of farms, and has also prepared protocols for containment from then on. It is this synergy between the private sector and public sector has been decisive to avoid the dissemination of the virus throughout the national territory. But unfortunately, fortunately, May 2025, unfortunately, there was the first outbreak in Montenegro, in the state of Rio Grande do Sul. It's important to remember that Brazil was the last one of the main producers of poultry meat to have an outbreak of high pathogenicity avian influenza case. And here the response, Brazil's response, as it was said here, it was a very quick response and very transparent response. And in the middle of May, there was the notification of the outbreak, and that was reported to the World Health Organization immediately, and to more than 150 countries with whom Brazil does trade. Today, Brazil exports more than 5 million tons of poultry meat, and in this period, to 154 countries we were exporting, showing that Brazil is a reliable country, safe country, even in the provision.
In a few days, then we were able to work with this virus in a unified work in the Ministry of Agriculture, and also this part that we afterwards, due to the Secretary of Trade and International Relations, we also worked together, showing to the world what we have done, technically speaking, talking to authorities in the countries, the importing countries, calming them down so these authorities would know everything that was going on, and also calm down the importers so that we could really to work the whole commerce, see all the certification, everything, see all the markets in just a short period of time. I think it was mentioned here by Alan in the public panel. I think it is a show of the transparency. We are showing how quick we work when dealing with the information that has to do with the subject, the avian influenza. I think the fact that Brazil being considered from now on our laboratory, the one in Campinas, the laboratory that's a reference in the detection of the avian influenza, is also something important, really important, so that we are able to move on this path, giving a quick response, having transparency, and also contact the world like the way we do in the Secretary of International Trade. And in this regard, we published a series of information to the press. We had meetings in the chamber, in the Senate, not only the scientific world, but all those that are linked to the activity, but our population, the society as a whole could have access to information. And that's what President Santin has said. In other words, there is no risk to the human population. This needs to be clear to the populations throughout the world when we have a case like this of avian influenza. So after all this work in a short period of time, Brazil also basically started exporting again to the main markets. We have maybe 3 or 4 markets still that we have some restriction, but the commercial data proved that the Brazilian exports kept in a very high level, above 400,000 tons, showing that in less than 4 months, Brazil was able to recuperate all its markets. And I would like to call your attention here for the need of us dealing the regionalization as something that is necessary, for example, to preserve the health of our flocks and the sanitary status, and at the same time necessary so that we avoid to increase even more the food and safety. All of us that are part of this productive change in the agribusiness here, talking about the poultry sector, we have responsibility with the world. And when we see some types, some restrictions, some barriers, commercial barriers that are not really, justifiable from the technical point of view, it's important to talk about that. It's important for us to work the issue of the regionalization, the subject of regionalization, and avoid this xenophobic system about the virus. Not because the virus is in Brazil and some other place where there is this incidence that is really high, the avian influence. It's not because of we cannot be penalized. It's something that escapes from the technical aspect. That's what we don't want. Brazil respects the rules, the international rules, respects all protocols of health, of animal health, everything that the ANSA has in its guidelines. So we need to work in a way, in a collaborative way, and that's why I salute events like this, so that we are able to discuss, technically speaking, in the detail, everything that has to do with the subject, so that we can, in fact, transform and also start to adopt more and more the issue of the regionalization, so that we can rethink issues like vaccination. Then I'm sure that all the subjects will be discussed, and always reminding like approximately 1 billion of people are hungry in the world. So we need to have this vision of the social assault. What is our responsibility as producers of food? And they say, I'm speaking in behalf of Brazil, but I'm sure that many countries represented here, they have this responsibility of providing food that is safe, with stability, that is accessible, that so the population can eat chicken meat, for example. I'm sure that we're going to advance more and more in this regard, and I congratulate once again the initiative. And I say that we have this commitment, Brazil has this commitment with the international cooperation, with the transparency, and the building of sustainable solutions for this threats that we have. That's why we're in this global forum promoted by FAO. And also, to finish my speech, I would like to pay homage here to all veterinary doctors. September 9th today, and also a tennis player day. It's really important that our veterinarian doctors for all the hard work that they do and the relevance that they have for our health, our public health, for our animal health. Without the veterinarians, we wouldn't have food that is safe for us to eat for the consumers. And Brazil is a reference in the production of food, and a lot of this production is a fruit of coordinated work with the official veterinarian and the veterinarians in our company, so that we are able to deliver a food that is safe and trustworthy, and everybody is healthy with this. So congratulations with the veterinarians, and you can count with the Ministry of Agriculture and Production of Food. Thank you. We thank the Secretary of International Relations from Brazil, Mr. Luis Rua. And right now, we ask the authorities to stand up, please, for the official photo. The high-level authorities, please stand up for the official photo. Very well. So we thank the presence among us, former State Governor, Mr. Orlando Pessutti. And right now, with a round of applause, we thank all the authorities. And it's officially open, the forum facing the high pathogenicity avian flu in the sector, the private sector, the public sector, all sectors involved in this forum. Thank you so much. Very well. Now we will have our next presentation that will talk about what we have decided to have an update about the state of avian influenza of high pathogenicity in the global realm. It's a pleasure for me to present Dr. Ingra, that is a leader in the prevention, preparation, and quick response to animal disease for WOAH and agriculture, FAO. Dr. Ingra, please, you have the floor.
Good morning, everybody. And it's really great to see all of you here in the room. We have a full house. We have a lot of people connected online, and we really appreciate those who are connected online because, you know, it's different time zones for different people. So I think I'm going to very quickly dwell upon, you know, why are we here? What are we going to do over these next 3 days? So we have heard a lot by our distinguished panelists on the impact of avian influenza. The disease has spread globally. No sector is safe, whether it's highly industrialized commercial systems, high biosecure production systems, backyard. And the reality is, with the growth in poultry sector that has been projected, there is a lot at risk. There is more at risk than used to be before. There's also the challenge of multi-host ecology. This is no longer a poultry disease. We have seen spillover into mammals, into wildlife. It is threatening biodiversity conservation, and there's a lot of zoonotic impact of the disease. There have been a lot of expenses incurred in managing this disease, you know, direct costs of culling, surveillance, response. A lot of indirect costs have also been involved, which are related to trade bans, loss of consumer confidence in buying the products, increases in prices. So, as was highlighted, this is not normal. This is not business as usual. And you know, while the world was dealing with COVID-19, avian influenza was quietly changing. And 2021 onwards, we saw this dramatic shift. So what do we do now? As Tanawat highlighted, we came together once earlier in Bangkok, and now we have come together again. Recognizing this, in 2023, FAO organized a global consultation on high pathogenicity avian influenza to bring together a lot of technical experts from all over the world to see what had changed. We were just coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic. After that, there was a OFLU meeting, and OFLU, as was highlighted, is the network of scientific expertise on animal influenzas. It's broader than avian influenza. So we discussed actions. What do we need to do? Vaccination is a very powerful tool in our arsenal. We were not using it enough. So WOAH organized, along with the International Association on Biological Standards, a meeting last year. And then finally, FAO and WOAH came together and said, we need to revise the global control strategy of avian influenza because this is not business as usual. How do we reverse the tide? And we said that, the three main goals of this strategy need to be prevent, protect, and transform. So the goal of the strategy is to substantially and sustainably reduce the impacts of HPAI on the poultry sector, improve the resilience of agri-food systems, safeguard ecosystems, and protect animal and human health. So the prevent component really deals with, preventing the HPAI epidemic. So detecting them early, containing them early, preventing their negative impacts on biodiversity. And this involves multi-sectoral actions. The protect component deals with protecting poultry value chains, protecting livelihoods, protecting trade, and also other animals from the impacts of avian influenza. We've seen this widespread spillover, so we need to stop that. And transform is the goal, which is why we are all here. So all of this we have been doing, early detection, rapid response, surveillance. But what are the transformative changes that we need? What are the innovations that we need now, to change the way we work, to change the way we do things together, because this is not business as usual. And this is why we have sort of aligned the agenda along these main outcomes. And as you can see, here are those key areas of work to achieve those outcomes: biosecurity, vaccination, surveillance, sustainable systems. What does sustainability mean in all its dimensions? Is it producing enough food? Is it producing it safely? Is it producing it conserving the environment? How do we do that sustainably, protecting livelihoods? Cross-sectoral collaboration, and no sector can do this alone. So again, as we said, this needs multi-sectoral solutions. And some of those need to be taken at country level. Because yes, it's the animal health sector, but you need to work with the wildlife sector, need to work with the public health sector, need to work maybe even with the defense ministry, maybe with the transport people, with the immigration people, with the border authorities. So many people are involved. It needs regional and sub-regional coordination mechanisms. The eradication of FMD and the regional collaboration that happened in this region through Panaftosa, that's an excellent example of coming together to tackle something. So if it could be done for FMD, why can't it be done for avian influenza? So that's why we are here. And again, it's not just avian influenza. The systems that are strengthened to tackle this disease can also help with other diseases. So what are we going to do? So as you will see in the agenda, the sessions are organized into very little presentation and a lot into breakout groups and discussions. This is not a conference. You are all here to work together. And I really want to thank our external advisory group. So this is not FAO or WOAH's agenda. This agenda was developed through an expert advisory group that we put together. That expert advisory group consisted of industry associations, International Poultry Council, World Egg Organization. There was ABPA, part of that, International Association of Biological Standards, Health for Animals, representing the pharmaceutical sector, USDA APHIS, UC Davis, representing academia, the National Veterinary Research Institute of Nigeria, MAPA, and CMS, the Convention on the Conservation of Migratory Species. And this agenda was set through a lot of discussions and deliberations with them. So we are going to discuss early detection and rapid response. We are going to discuss biosecurity and business continuity, because having an outbreak does not mean that you cannot do business safely. You cannot produce food safely. You cannot sell food safely. We are going to discuss vaccination, and we are going to discuss partnerships and synergies. So these are sort of the four main areas that have been identified. Now, in order to do all of this, you need investment. And the investments, again, can be mobilized differently. For different countries, every country has its own unique situation. So we have World Bank here with us. We are going to organize a roundtable on leveraging investments. And you will hear from different countries, different ways to mobilize investments. And investment doesn't mean that it's only the national authorities that have to do it. The private sector can find its own ways of, funding solutions. So again, as I said, this is not a conference. We are not here to listen. This is our meeting. We need to work together. We have our work cut out for us. And then we need to come back with actionable solutions. Who's going to do what? What are countries going to do? What's the private sector going to do? What is FAO going to do? What is WOAH going to do? What are the regional economic communities going to do? The groups going to do? And we want to come with defined timelines. Yeah. So it's not just we come together and then we forget about it. Actions, timelines, who does what, and how to get the investments to do what we need to do. So with that, I thank you very much again for being here. I thank our hosts in this beautiful city. And let's learn from each other, and let's have a productive 3 days of discussions. Back to you, Andres.
We would like to thank Ms. Madhu Drenga for her presentation. Now, before continue with the program with some important announcement for the good development of the forum. First of all, we have simultaneous interpretation into English, into Portuguese, and into Spanish. And the last version of the agenda of these 3 days is on the web page of the event that you received when you signed up. And for people that are participating online, we have more than 400 people that have signed up to attend online. Please constantly review the Zoom chat to be able to receive the indication of how to interact of people that are here in person. And now we're going to have an interactive coffee break. And during this break, please think about a concrete question, which is the one that has to do, what are the keys for the early detection of the high pathogenicity avian influenza? Because the following session after the break is going to be based on the early detection and what are the main factors that may help improve that. I'd like to thank all the colleagues of the broadcasting and the ones that are participating virtually and that attend the event virtually through the FAO's network at the global level. I'd like to invite you to enjoy the coffee break in this wonderful city, and please be back at 11 o'clock in this room to continue. Thank you.